Hi guys, this is Michael from the Boardgames Chronicle. Let me invite you to another material about Inferno, so the third game in the Leavy Campaign series. This is a game about the conflict in Tuscany between Guelfi and Ghibellini. It was between 1259 and 1261. This is the third game in the series by Folko Runke, Leavy Campaign. I already did one material about the historical background, look at the components, a little about the setting. Today, what I would like to do is kind of a teach and play. We will tackle the shortest first scenario in the rulebook called Dolenti Note. Before we do it, couple of words of, let's say, historical background, very shortly, as we did an extensive part in the first look material. So we have two factions. One, the purple ones here, over here, are Guelfi, and these were more connected to the papal state and to some extent supporters of the papal state. And you have the yellow Ghibellini. They were more pro-imperial, and as you know, during those years, the clash between imperial forces and papal forces was predominant. Here we have a line which is delimiting both sides. In this game, we'll show some basic mechanics. Maybe I will not go into each and every detail. I would like to give the dear subscribers and also other gamers who would like to see how this game plays. What can I say about the first scenario? This is a very short scenario, and this is a very small scenario. As you can see, it's the description. The length is for this introductory scenario is just 2 turns. This can be visible here. We have the spring and then the summer. Spring with 7 cards, summer with 6 cards. We shall see whether we play both or only one, depending how well and how enjoyable the game will be, and how much material I can prepare. So this is digestible, because 3 hours long movie probably will not be so easy and nice to watch. Then, regarding the details, we start with a very few lords on the map, and the calendar box, as you can see, it has a very few components. From the special rules, and this is not only in this beginning scenario, but also in the main scenario, is that Guelfi start with the surprise event. This is a very important thing, which you shall see in a moment how it will be influencing the game. From the strategic point of view, you can see that 2 locales here and here on the Guelfi, so violet side, are under the control of the yellow gold side, so Ghibellini, and vice versa. Also 2 locales here on the Ghibellini side are under the Guelfi control. That means that from victory points point of view, this is a draw. How many victory points each side has? As you can see, we have 3 types of locales. This would be, as written here, castle. This would be town, and the larger one would be the cities. So depending on the size, this is also the number of points. 2 points for town, so 4 points for Ghibellini and 4 points for Guelfi, which is clearly visible here. Victory markers are put here. What we see also on the map, we have now 2 lords on Guelfi side. This is Firenze here, and this is Arezzo. We have also 1 lord here in Siena. There is possibility to muster 1 more lord, which is visible here, because this lord is below the levy point for this particular turn. Okay, this is this surprise event, which I will talk about in a moment, but important to know. I think we should start playing and that way explaining the game to you guys. What will help us a lot is this fantastic player aid of sequence of play, and we'll be following it. As the name of series, let's say, stands, this is a levy and campaign game. So we'll be levying forces, and then we'll be going for a campaign. The levying of forces and the setup of a campaign will be to some extent inspired by what we have in the background book. Background book for Inferno has a pretty nice setup of this first scenario for a quick game. It allows you actually to do the whole levy based on this background book, because at the beginning, when you start the first game, it might be a little bit overwhelming how to do the levy part. And then you play the campaign part. You have everything nicely shown here. So if you will be starting with Inferno, I strongly suggest going through this augmented scenario one. Hopefully this will also help you, this material which I'm preparing here. From strategic perspective, before we start, what can happen here? Most probably, let's start with purple ones with Guelphy. Most probably they would like to take back the Cortona. They have a surprise attack card which allows a much better storm the cities which are rebellious to them. Maybe prepare the second lord for the siege of this second rebellious town. For the Ghibellini, so for the gold one, from strategic perspective, they should 100% important thing muster this lord, and then together with him go to take this or this rebellious town from the Guelphy. This would be probably better because it will be also to some extent protecting the Cortona. Yes. Okay, guys, I think it's time to start. Let's go through the sequence of play. And don't be doubted by the number of text here. It's easier than you think. We start the levy. Don't read this. This is not scenario F. With the Arts of War. Normally, in regular scenarios, you would be drawing 2 cards at the beginning of a levy and implementing them. In the first turn, it will be capabilities. In the thereafter, each further turn, it will be events. For the special case of a scenario A, we will be drawing 2 cards, but one will be event and one will be capability. This is the special rule for this scenario A. You can even see this here. It says sudden campaign for the first levy, Arts of War. Instead, draw 1 capability and 1 event. So let us do it. Let's start as per the rules with Guelphy. So this will be the event they draw. And let me do the close up on this. So I will show you first of all the surprise event. The surprise event, this is the hold event, so you don't need to play this immediately. You keep it for the opportunity moment. And it says, we played upon besieging a stronghold where there is no lord. We place 2 siege markers. Normally when we start the siege, we place only 1 marker. And then we can storm up to 3 rounds. What is important, the walls which are protecting the defender usually on the roll of from 1 to 4 are -2, so protect on the roll of 1 to 2. Pretty strong card for the attack. And let's see what kind of event we just draw in the Arts of War. In the Arts of War, we have drawn Swamp. This is also kind of a hold event, so we can play it at opportunity moment. It says may play defending in non-summer battle. Ghibellini horse does not strike in round 1. Perfect card to prevent the Ghibellini, the gold forces attacking in the first round, which might be a decisive strike. Normally, the events we can keep like this. If we play a 2-player game, we can keep somehow like this. For the sake of this, let's say, demonstration, I am putting them from the top of the Lord's map. So only the relevant part is here. Let us continue with the Arts of War. So the second card, which we draw, the second card, this will be a capability. And let's see what capability I have just drawn. We look only at the bottom, so not here. We look only here. And yeah, let me just make it better. Treachery. We can put this to any lord, as you can see. Up to 3 of these lords armigeri have crossbows, so they will be shooting the green ones, and they have -2 to target armor, so the target will not be able to so easily defend, and they also select targets in storm defense. Interesting. Now we should give this to one of the lords. I think we will give it to Aretto. We would like him to be as prepared as possible for the possible storm here. And now that finishes the first step of Levy. As you can see, we went through Arts of War. Now we have a phase of pay. Of course, this one went only through the first part of Arts of War for Guelphs, not for Ghibellines. Let me now do the Ghibellines. They also draw 2 cards. I will draw both of them immediately. So this will be the card for event, and this will be for capability. And we shall have a look in a moment what each of them says. First of all, the event Cortona is also event which says hold. You can play for treachery at Cortona to succeed for 0 coin. We'll be discussing the treachery mechanics. It's too early in the game to discuss it, but let's say this is a really good coin saving if you can do it for 0. If Cortona Ghibellini, we can roll on revolt table or 1 at treachery. This is really cool event, but as I said, only when we get at least to the second turn, because in the first turn we would not have treachery cards. And for the capability, what we have drawn, Feditori, Vanguard Knights. Only those lords can use it. And what we can do, up to 3 of these lords Cavalieri in battle mill strike ×2. Round 1 and round 2. Very nice, very powerful. I think Siena would love to have such capabilities. Okay, let me just move it a bit. See, the level of details is huge in this game, but this is nice. I like it. Okay, so now I can correctly say that the phase of Arts of War is done. By the way, let me just move it a little bit so there is no reflex from this lord, and you can nicely and clearly see, yeah, there should be no reflex anymore. We finish the Arts of War. We can now potentially pay Guelphs and Ghibellini to stay in the field. You see, each and every lord has couple of characteristics. They are here: fealty role, service, lordship, and command. What we look now at is service. Service tells us how many turns this lord will stay with us. The turns are 60 days, and if it says 3, it means that the lord will stay for 3 turns, and then at the beginning of the 4th turn it will be disbanded, provided this Levy marker is in the same space as the service marker. The lord can be also disbanded earlier during the turn, but that's the typical way to do it. Now we can pay with loot or gold to move this one, let's say, service 1 of 60 days forward, so 1 round forward. We will not be doing. We don't want to do any of such things at this one time. All our lords have enough service to survive till the end of scenario, which is here as shown here by the end. So we will not do it. In a regular game, longer scenario, after the pay phase, there would be this band phase. And depending whether the lord is beyond service limit or at service limit, there would be different consequences. Justify to say that you don't want to be beyond service limit. So, for example, you don't want to have such situation that you have a levy phase here, let's say, and your lord is here. This will cause a lot of trouble, a lot of damage. So definitely he is behind the service line. In such a case, he will simply come back to the pool. In this case, he would be rather permanently removed. So this is a cool mechanics in this game, which models, simulates that the obligation of the lords, of the vassals, was not permanent. It has its end, as per the, let's say, rules of the medieval Europe. So we don't do anything here, and now we don't disband, we go to master, and this is the key of levy phase. In the master phase, we'll be looking at the lordship of each and every lord, and looking at the lordship, we would be able to do that many actions. This is free from the fourth possible. We can try to roll Lord 30 to master him, so we can add additional lord. This is what we should do with Ghibellini. Then we can master ready vassals. The vassals are those pieces here on the mat, and they add additional forces. We can add a transport, so cards in this case, or add a capability. And here is the key thing, that when you first time play any Leavy Campaign game, at this moment in time you would be stuck. What should I choose? Whether I should ready lord, I should master vassals, I should add transport. And when you buy this capability, you have access to the full deck of cards, and you can choose. So you should also know. That is why the initial scenario, as per the rulebook, with this, let's say, predefined setup of a levy phase, is such a good starting point, and we'll follow it. Let's have a look. Whom do we have here? First of all, we start with Ghibellini. We have Firenze, and we have Arezzo. Firenze, so Florence, the guys here, have the lordship too, so can do two things. And out of those two things, what we shall do? There is a couple of things we can do. Definitely, it would be good to get some forces. So, for example, as per the demonstration, let's move one of the vassals, this one, and muster him. So let me just take him the other round. So for this vassal, we are getting one man at arms and one militia. Okay, so they are more powerful now, the Firenze. Yeah, what else can we do? Would be good to buy some capability and most probably cards. So lordship is free, so we have three things to do. One we used, the other one would be buying the cards, so we can transport more. So we change from 2 to 3 the cards. And the last thing will be buying one very nice capability, pretty useful in sieges, and you should learn about this capability. War Engineers. This Lord Siege adds marker to any size stronghold. That's important because in order to besiege larger strongholds, you would have need that many lords as the level of the stronghold. So in order to besiege this, you need one lord. In order to besiege this, 2 lords. But in order to besiege this, you need 3 lords. So this is a cool mechanic. Another thing, besieged, he can use entire command to reduce to 1 siege there. Very, very nice card, and I believe we should give it to Firenze, so the main lord on Guelphi side. For Arezzo, that's a no-brainer. He goes to fight, so he masters both of those vassals. And by mastering both of those vassals, he is getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 troops. And because he got so many troops, he would need to feed them. And how do we feed in Leavy Campaign? At the end of some of the actions, mainly move, fight, withdraw, besiege, we need to pay 1 provender per 6 units. Here we have already 3, 4, 11 units. So we will mark that he needs to feed twice, so 2 provender. This is the mark which will remind us that he needs to pay 2. Okay, that will be everything for the master for Guelphi. Now Ghibelline. First thing first, we have lordship 3, so we can do 3 things. And the first thing, most critical one, which I already mentioned, will be bringing more forces, but not only vassals, but a new lord. Let me take a die and we'll roll. We have Provenzano as a potential, let's say, additional lord, and as you can see, it has fealty marked as 5, so we need a roll of 5 or less, so this is pretty possible for him to join. Yep, he joins the fray. So we take his service marker, and this is also the number equal to the service, and put that many rounds forward. 1, I believe this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here. I hope I haven't mixed anything. 1, 2, 3, and he gets into the play in his main seat. And his main seat, surprise, surprise, would be Siena. We could potentially put him here, but we don't want. This is completely okay. His forces are already here. Yep. And now we cannot use his lordship this turn. He was just, called to arms, and so we cannot use his lordship just right now. We continue with the lordship of Siena. So here we have 3 lordship. First lordship was to call Provenzano. The second would be to get some of the vassals. Let me take this vassal. His seat is free of enemy markers, and we can see this here, but yeah, this is subordinate vassal, so we'll add some forces here. Nice. And last but not least, it would be good to buy some capabilities. It will be Gualdana. Here I'm showing this to you in a moment. Here we have this. Horse Marauders. This lord treats any horse unit as Berovieri for ravage. Important thing, Berovieri can ravage much more efficiently than the rest. You can see our playwright. I really like it. We have here the Berovieri, and lords with Berovieri ravage for double provender and loot. So in this case, this capability, this lord treats any horse unit as capable of ravaging for double provender and loot. And we'll give it to the main lord. Hopefully you are still with me, guys. Trying to lead you through the game in a tempo which allows to catch up with all the details. So we went through the master, which was most complex part of Levy. Now call to arms. We don't do the call to arms in this short scenario, but believe me, it will allow a lot of interesting strategic moves to be done by both sides, bringing new commanders, bringing the commune, allies, and so on. So this would be really, really interesting and probably at some point in time I will also create material which will show us those things. With this, we finished the Levy phase. Now we will move to the main phase, so to the campaign. In the campaign phase, what we do, first of all, we do a plan. In this plan, we are using the cards, depending on the season 4, 6, or 7. In spring, we would have 7 cards from the command deck, and they will be showing whom do we activate, whether we pass, whether we play the treachery. Then Golps and the Ghibellini alternate and reveal top command, and then the command rating of the leader is used to see how many actions they can do. They do the actions, we could potentially play a treachery card, pass card, and at the end we would need to fit the lords and possibly pay or disband at the end of each turn. Then we have more activations and we end the campaign. So I have a predefined set of cards. As you can see, I have command cards. Those are predefined as per the background book based scenario quick intro. So actually I did exactly this, and we'll be playing them and checking what each of the troops of the units will do. Okay, first things first. So we have Guelphi, and they play the card Arezzo. It says Podesta. I will explain later on what Podesta means during one of the actions when it will have a really important impact. So Arezzo, where is Arezzo? Arezzo is here, and he has command 2. So he can take 2 actions, and the actions he can take are very nicely described, of course, in our player 8. This is a march, siege, storm, sally, supply, forage, ravage, potentially sail, tax, and of course if you draw a card, pass, and you can with a card pass or simply passing one of his actions. Treachery is completely different card. What we will do with him, we will gather some supplies. We need enough provender to fit our very large army, and we'll move against the Cortona, because this is a very rebellious city. So first of all, we'll do the supply. How do we do the supply? We look for the sources of supply. For the Lord, source of supply is his main seat. For the Arezzo, this will be 2 of those seats. And in case to bring the provender from the main seat, he would need potentially some transport. Or in case he is at the seat, he will not require transport. If Arezzo would be here, he would need 1 transport to bring the provender. If he would be potentially here, he would need 1, 2, 3 cards to bring this provender. Of course, per provender. So in this case, we could bring 2 provenders from Arezzo to his lot. In this case, this is a pretty easy thing. We are in Arezzo. This is a large town, so supply gives the number of provender equal to this number. So it gives us 3. Yep, we have now a lot of provender, and the issue is that we can only have 2 provenders max per card, so we need to get rid of 1 provender, especially because we'll be moving in a moment. So we reduce provender to 4. Now, in Leavy Campaign, you have a very important concept of laden. Whether the Lord is laden or not. So simply whether he can move quickly or slowly. How is it defined in Inferno? It changes a little bit from the previous games. One rule which is common is if you have a lot with the Lord, that means you have a lot of livestock and whatever else you manage to gather from the enemy strongholds. You are laden on each road, on every road, in every move. You are laden, and you need to spend 2 actions per 1 movement. Now, when you are also laden and when you are not laden, note that we have two types of tracks on this map, roads and tracks. These are the roads and these are the tracks. The trick is, and as per the March explanation, and when we move the lords, we can have maximum 2 provender per card. Here is the laden definition. Card with 2 provender along track will require 2 movement points. So along those tracks, we would need 2 movement points. But if we have card with a 2 provender along road, no, we don't. We are not laden. We can move normally. What is more, and this is pretty novelty, first march unladen on road without loot, yeah, cost 0. So let's see this in practice. Our Arezzo has 2 commands. With the first command, he took provender. With the second command, he will move from here to here, and it will cost him 0 command because he is not laden. You are laden if you are moving through track with cards with 2 provender. So for example, this move requires 2 command. This move requires 0 command. It's a long road. It's the first move along road. The lord is not laden. Then he can use his second and the last command to move here and immediately play the start the storm and play the event. Let me just bring the marker of battle. Do I have it handy? It's actually not necessarily needed. I usually don't use it too often, but let me. Yes, we'll have storm. So he will immediately storm this place. And how do we play storm? Of course, what will help us? Our fantastic player aid. I really suggest you guys, once you read the rules, stick to this. It's the Steam storm procedure, goes through all the phases of this, and now we will be also doing this. Okay, let's start the storm procedure. First of all, we need to array the forces. I have prepared this small map which will help us. You can use it, you don't have to use it, it's here given with the game. It has place for defenders, it has place also for attackers, so you can see both. That I hope you can see this clearly. So the defenders, this will be only garrison, and because this is town, we have predefined size of garrison. Town, it has walls 1 to 4, it has 2 men-at-arms, yep, it has 2 green units armighieri, yes we have, and it has 2 mounted units, these are cavalieri, yep. And this will be spoils if we of course manage to get inside. What does it say? That each and every foot unit will have a crossbow and will be reducing the armor of the opponent by 2 and can choose the units which will be attacked. And here every green unit will have also crossbow, will hit on 1 with strength of 1 and also reduces the protection and can choose the opponent. Now, we have a very nasty event, I told you. Let me put this guy here. And this event allows us to do a couple of things. The surprise. Play upon besieging a stronghold where no other lord. That's the situation. Place 2 siege, not 1. Let us play these 2 sieges markers. So we have 2 sieges here, of course down. Okay, good. Now the walls are -2, so it will be, we remove, usually we use the siege markers which protect first of all attacker and also the defender. How much siege we achieved, this will be protecting us and how much walls we have, which will be protecting the defenders, but we remove 2 because of the surprise. The walls are not so effective. Now, yes, and then we can storm up to 3 rounds, yeah, from what I remember, and we put, of course, this card aside. A side note, very interesting. This is double use card. If you keep the event, you can have capability, and the other way around. If you have a capability, you can have event. So this is kind of a trade-off which we need to make. Okay, let us look further at the storm procedure. So we did the array of forces. Only one activated lord will be here. Defender, we place garrison. We did it. We played siege works as works. We did it. Everything is nicely arrayed. Then, anybody concedes? Of course not. Yeah, we want this to be resolved. We don't do any reposition, and we go to the strike. Very important. First of all, we'll have archery, the defender first, the attacker then. When we have melee, all stronghold defenders will attack in melee, all attackers then. Important things in melee, maximum 6 hits per lord. Why? Because of all the protection and all the cramped spaces. You cannot inflict more than 6 hits. Unlike battle, please check, all melee forces of the defender attack first. In the battle, first of all, defending horse would attack, then attacking horse, then defending foot, then attacking foot. So from that perspective, this is much easier. Now each unit will be causing half 1 or 2 hits, and this is automatic. What is not automatic is rolling for walls and rolling for protection. And only then, if those 2 rolls for walls and for protection fail, the unit will rout. And then we'll be checking for the new round. Now, statistics of each and every unit you have, of course, on the player aid. In this battle, we would have mainly, as you can see, the armigeri, we have some militia, we have some men-at-arms. As far as the horses are concerned, we have cavalry and breviary. Yep. So what do? We follow the procedure. First of all, we do the archery defenders. The defenders have 1, 2, 3, 4 archery capable units. So these are 2 armigeri and 2 men-at-arms. And remember that all of them can shoot. So if you have 2 armigeri, this is 2 hits, and 2 halves, this is another hit. So these are the 3 hits. 3 hits, and let us check the siege work, whether it will prevent any of those hits. The siege work prevents hits on 1 and 2. 3 hits, let's see how many will go through. Okay, so 2 went through, and now we have the forces, and the defender can choose to which forces to shoot. What should be checked is what kind of capabilities the opponent has, and as you can see, Arezzo as attacker have ballistieri, so they can shoot. So this should be the primary target, of course, of the defenders, those green units, because these are the ones which will be capable of shooting. So we have 2 hits inflicted, and now for the green units, they have armor of 1 or 2, but of course we have -2. So this is the armor, and we roll to check whether this will protect them. Of course, that's automatic failure, because as you can see, this 2, and we have 1, 2, -2. It's below this, so Only one, if I'm not mistaken, would prevent the route. So these guys are routing. And the second shot also went through. And they are also routing. So that was not bad for those guys. These are all defenders who are shooting. Now we'll have the attacker shooting. And for the attacker, whom do we have as shooting capable? This is, of course, Armighieri. They can shoot. And other than that, nobody else from what I can see, because Men-at-Arms, Crossbow, Archery, if Garrison, or Ballisteri, Grosse in Storm. This is not, so they will not shoot, they will shoot. Militia doesn't have those special abilities, so they will also not shoot. And the horses normally does not shoot, so let's see how it goes. First of all, those guys inflict one hit, so we roll for the walls. Walls are 1, 2. It didn't went through. Okay. Not surprisingly, such a storm is a nasty business. We went for archery defenders, archery attackers. Now we have melee, all stronghold defenders. We have pretty many of them. We have, yes, Armighieri. They inflict one hit in a battle. Then we have Men-at-Arms, one hit. And then we have Cavalry, one hit. So this is a total of 6. Let's roll separately. First of all, Cavalry. 2. The defense is, of course, 1, 2. So one protected and one actually will be hitting us. So let's mark it. Now, Armighieri. One went through and one didn't. And then Men-at-Arms. Let me move a bit. Okay, both went through. So in total we have every one of them inflicts one hit. One hit, one hit, and one hit. Yeah. So this is nothing here. 4 hits, and now the first units which have to take casualties in the game in the storm are usually the armored protected units. We have in our group, first of all, Berovieri, armor 1, 2. We have Cavalieri, armor 1, 3. We have Men-at-Arms, armor 1, 3. So we probably start with this more armored units. 4 hits, let's remember, we need to roll 4 times for the attacking units. First of all, Men-at-Arms, they are protected on 1, 3. Okay, so there is a protection. Now, we can roll once again on those Men-at-Arms. They are okay, so 2 more rolls. Those 2 hits. Again, Men-at-Arms. They seem to be doing really well. Nope, they rout. And we have 1 more hit to roll for. Let this be Cavalieri. They have 1, 3 defense. Okay, so they survived. Now we go to the all attacker. Now, the attacker has 3 militia, and every militia has half. So it's 1.5. We have, of course, very potent Berovieri. They have 1 in storm because they want to loot. Those guys have 1 in storm, and those guys have 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. and if I'm not mistaken, you round in the favor of the attacker, but let me of course double check this. Yes, of course, we round up. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. Let's see how it goes. Okay, 7 hits and the defense. The defense is on 1, 2. So 1 didn't went. 4 more. Okay, so 5, 2 more rolls. So the 5 hits are there. Now we'll be rolling for the defending units, and of course we'll be rolling most probably on many turns, although it's better on cavalry, they do not have a range attack. 1 free. So 5 hits and 1 free protects cavalry. Nope. So these are gone. Now here. Yeah, they protected. 3rd hit. These are gone. 2 more hits. Man at arms. 1, 2, 3. These are gone. And these are gone. So this is a pretty close to the end of a garrison, because as you can see, we managed to as an attacker to inflict a lot of damage. Okay, now we can move to the second round of this siege. I believe this is fully possible because you can, as per the card, have up to 3 rounds. Storm up to the 3 rounds. Okay, so we go quickly. First of all, archer defender. This is 1 hit and this is 1 hit. Yep. So we roll for the siege works. Okay, 1 hit went through, and now we'll be rolling against cavalry. They have protection 1, 3, -2, so only on 1 they will survive. That's a pity. They did not survive. And now the melee attack. So Armigeri has as far as attack 1, so this is 2. We roll again on the siege, so it works. 1 hit didn't went through, and now who will defend? They have armor 1, 2, and they have armor 1, 3. Let me use those guys, plunderers. Nope, they didn't get it, so we are here. We should actually do, and I was too quick, sorry for that. We should actually do the archery phase of those, but I was too quick in doing so. So let me just roll for the attacker archery. First of all, they have 1 hit in archery, yeah, because of ballistery. But first of all, we need to check whether this hit goes through the walls. No, so even if I forgot this, nothing happened. We did melee by the defending units. Now we do the melee by the attacking units. So the last step here, and we have pretty significant forces. This is 1 hit, 2, 3, 4.5, 5 hits. First of all, we'll roll 5 die to see how many will go through the walls. 4 went through the walls. And now we have the need to roll for those guys to see if they survive. Their protection cavalry is 1, 3, so pretty strong. First hit, unfortunately dead. Second hit, dead. So guys, we just finalized the storm, and I believe this was a historical resolution of the storm, because this city, actually town, was conquered, I think, in this surprise march. Now we need to go, of course, through all those steps. We are here. If all attackers or defenders routed, this side loses. If not, and this happened, so loses. All lords routed units each roll, failed roll remove unit. In case of siege, we would be unfortunately not rolling on protection. We'll be rolling only one. No, this is a very nasty business and of storming. So we have on the Areto side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 casualties. We roll for them, and only ones will protect them. Nope. Second, no. Third, no. Fourth, no. The probability was not with those guys. Okay, so with significant losses, but with a victory nonetheless. Yep. Okay. Now, as for the spoils, as in the battle, we'll see at left, plus sacked stronghold is assets per stronghold table. In this case, we have this VP markers spoils. So for the VP markers, we simply remove those two markers from here, which automatically reduces victory points. We also don't have these siege markers anymore, and this storm marker. As for the spoils, we have 2 loot, 2 provender, 2 coin. Very nice. And because we are storming and we have a full group here, we would need to feed them, but in a moment. Let me just have a look here. 2 more coins, so this makes this 3 coin. That was really successful storm. The provender is now not 4, but 6. Of course, too much, and we will have 2 loot. A lot of stuff they gain. Yes, this is it. So, loot service. There were no retreating vassals, nothing like this. Important aftermath. Mark all rolls moved fought. Yeah, this will have that lord. Discard any hold events used. This we did. If battle started siege, place 1 marker. It's no. So we need to feed the forces, and I believe we need to feed only those forces, not the beginning forces. So there is no feed ×2 anymore, and we'll use 1 provender. And because we have not enough cards anyhow, and we would like to move later on, we probably would need to discard some of this provender. But very, very important thing now, about which we need to tell you a little. If Lord removed or sack, roll revolt at treachery. And this is another chapter of the game, which is a pretty unique. And we will move to this because I'm really glad that we had the successful storm. It will allow me to show you these mechanics. As for the treachery, of course, what will help us is a very nice player 8. There is a whole revolt and treachery summary, player 8, and there are of course some treachery tables on which we'll be rolling here and here. So when do we when do we go with treachery? We have two things. We can obtain treachery cards, which we will be able to use later on, and we can also do the revolt tables roll. So let us start with the treachery. When do we obtain the treachery cards? When we have a lord disbanded beyond service or removed by combat, not applicable. When we have a surrender or sack of an enemy stronghold. Yes, this we had. So because this was a stronghold value of 2, we have 1 free card to draw. By the way, guys, I just realized that we forgot one thing. And this one thing is connected to sack. Do you know what happens when we sack the city? It becomes exactly a ruin. And if I'm not mistaken, this will be ruin on the terrain of Guelph, so it's a Ghibellini victory point, half of it. I just realized that when you storm and you suck it, then you simply destroyed this and you put the ruins. Now let's move on. So we sacked an enemy stronghold, so we get 2 cards, and those treachery cards then can be used by the lords, of course. So let me take the cards. Okay, for the treachery cards, we can have, of course, treachery cards of particular lord. We can have 2, Arezzo and Firenze. We do not add them immediately. We'll be able to add them later on to the draw deck, but only for 1 turn. And if you do not use them next turn, they will be gone. So in this turn, they will not be of use, but later on, if we play the treachery card, we will be able to use in campaign plane. And when we play it in campaign, we will be able to use it to revolt or to bribe. And you remember this event Cortona that could be really helpful for Ghibellini because it reduces the cost of the split. This will not happen, so don't worry. Now, revolt tables. When we roll on revolt, a side must roll whenever the enemy side suffers disbanding and service or removed by combat. This didn't happen. Surrender or sack, of course. So what will happen? We'll be rolling 2 times actually, and those rolls will show us what's going on and what happens on the map. Important thing: not each and every locale can revolt. This is a very, very important thing. Eligible for revolt: stronghold, not ruins or outpost. It has to be stronghold. In order to be a stronghold, so you have castle, town, city. And second thing, no lords who are friendly to that stronghold, there or adjacent. It's very, very important when there cannot be such lords. And how do we roll? For each roll, cross-reference purple and gold dice for results. If ineligible stronghold, ruins or nearby enemy, do nothing. If eligible enemy stronghold, within 1 locale of rolling sites Lord of Origins marker, it revolts. That would be very, very, very interesting. If friendly stronghold, already marked, revolts at eligible adjacent stronghold. And X will be removing such markers. Yep, let's see if anything happens. Okay, so we'll now be rolling. The losing side were the gold ones, Ghibellinis. So now we shall see what will happen and who will revolt. First of all, we have a map here on the table of a revolt against Ghibellinis. We roll a die, and we'll cross 2 die, and we'll cross reference. And when we have a place, we'll check whether it will be eligible for revolt. So we roll against Ghibellini because they lost. They were sacked. 3-3. 3. And 3 is Cassaole. Let's try to find Cassaole. This is more or less how the map is built, so it should be somewhere in the center. This is Cassaole, and let us check whether this is eligible for revolt. First of all, is it stronghold? Yes, there are no ruins, no outposts. Do we have lords who are friendly to that stronghold, there or adjacent? No, they sit in Siena, so no. This is eligible for revolt. Let's go. For each roll, cross-reference purple and gold die. If ineligible stronghold, this is eligible. If eligible enemy stronghold within one locale of rolling sites, lord or allegiance marker, it revolts. Unfortunately, Cassaole is not close to the allegiance marker or my lord. So unfortunately, they will not roll. In case we have such situation, or in case it will be Monticiano, they would revolt. This is not allegiance marker. This is how to say it, printed owner. So this is not revolting. Now we have a second roll because it was a town which was sacked. 5-2. 5 on yellow. Sorry. To heal. Monterfondo. Monterfondo. I'm trying to find this. It's here. It's eligible, but again, there are no the allegiance markers. If it will be Monticiano, it will also not revolt because you see there are lords here, but this would revolt. It's adjacent to it, and this would revolt. That one could also revolt. But nothing happened from that treachery. Good, or maybe not good. That's all for the Arezzo. He had really perfect turn. He lost a lot of forces, that's true, but other than that, it went very good for him. Okay, guys, I think we can now continue. Hopefully, the next turns will not be so extensive, but I think it was important to show you how the storm works and how the treachery cards works. I hope that I did not make any mistakes. Now, after this strike by Guelfi, Ghibellini, what do? They have pass. They wanted to await what the opponents will do. So we jump now to the second round for Ghibellini. Once again, Guelfi, of course. Once again, Arezzo. What Arezzo should do, and I think it would be good time now to discuss what does mean that he's Podesta Lord. First of all, in Italian, if I'm not mistaken, Podesta means somebody who is an appointed leader, a magistrate. In Nevsky and Almoravit, you usually have named leaders, not chosen leaders. Here you also have such leaders. For example, Provenzano is a name leader. Siena is Podesta, Firenze is Podesta, Arezzo is Podesta. All of those guys are the chosen leaders, magistrates. What special features do they have? First of all, if they are removed, they can come back. They are not removed permanently, but it's very costly. Normally, if you lose a leader by the battle, sack, or beyond the service limit, you would have a 1 treachery roll and 1 cut. For those guys, this is 3 treachery rolls and 3 cuts. Second of all, when they tax for 2, not for 1 coin, so they can quickly accumulate the money. And in order to advance the service marker, you need to pay as much as 2. By the way, we could, at the end of the previous turn, use some of this loot to pay, and I think it would be wise not to be laden and use those 2 loot at the end of previous turn and move Arezzo here. Okay, and now during its turn, what he can do, he probably should start doing some more damage. The opponents do not have too many forces, so he should be pretty safe. He is not laden at this moment in time, at least not too much on the roads. If he moves here, he will be laden. So he has too much provender. So what we'll do, we'll remove 1 provender. We would definitely like to move from these ruins. There is no need to stay there any longer. And yep, so we will move here. This costs us 0 because the first move, if unladen, costs 0. And now we still have to command. What shall we do? Probably we should, at least to some extent, try to get near. If we move like this, that means we are laden because we are moving through a track with each card having 2 provender. So it uses our 2 commands, and that means that we are left with a 3 provender. End of round. So that's all for Arezzo. Now let's move to the Ghibellini. We have Siena and we have Commander. That means that Commander can take 1 other Lord with himself. And now, what situation do we have here? 2 cards, 2 provender, 1 provender. That means that they are not laden. We will move them here. That uses 1 of the commands. We need to remember that we'll need to feed them. And we will use also, we'll use supply. And by using the supply, we will bring, this is how long? 1. So we can bring 2 more provender. Do we want to bring 2 more provender? Yes, we want to bring 2 more provender. Potentially drop it later on. So we moved. We were not laden, so it was 1 command. And then we did the supply action. We actually brought with 2 cards to prevent. Now we need to fit after the move, so we remove 1 provender here, and we remove 1 provender here. We will be able to share later on this provender by using this on both sides. Good. Now that was all for Siena. Let's see what Northern guys will do. They will pass. And we'll have again Siena. And yes, they are not laden. They are laden here, so they will get rid of this provender. Yes, this is what they will do. Or you know what, guys? If we do not get more of this food, we'll go to do the siege, and when we do the siege, we of course need to use the provender. We can potentially supply ourselves during this, but I believe it will be very, very long process, probably taking more time than this 1 turn which we wanted to play. But well, that's how it is, yeah. Okay, so we get rid of this provender. We move here. Yes, we get here, and that means that we are starting the siege. And because we're starting the siege, we'll add the siege markers. And this will be, of course, 1 siege marker. You can see how does it work. Siege uses entire card. All lords there must be fed. If no lords inside, may roll dice equal to size if all rolls equal or less than zich plus ravage markers, switch allegiance. Remove zich. Exactly. So we don't do the roll because, of course, we didn't have. We have almost no chance for this. Yeah. What we'll be doing later on, probably we'll do some ravage, things like this. For now, we need to fit, and because both of them moved, and they have up to 6 units, they eat everything. What will the Guelphi do? First time they, excuse me, they activate Firenze, and Firenze, I think, will start gather the money. We want the money for those treachery cards. So instead of 2 tax, we have instead of 2 coin, we have 4 coin. Nicely, and this uses all command. This is important to remember. Now let's see what kind of action the Provenzano will do. Provenzano, I think it would be good to do the ravage. I believe this would be very nice. Why? Because it will give us some food, and second of all, ravage does not mark as moved or fought. Enemy locale, not a ravage. 2 actions if town city. Yes, this is a town. Place ravage markers opposite of printed color. Fortunately, add 1 provender plus if town city 1 loot to ravage lord. Do we have Berovieri? Do we have Berovieri? No, we don't have with Provenzano Berovieri, which is a pity, and this is not Siena who is doing this. So you know, guys, that would be nice if we would have now Siena. He would be able to use this capability, and with this capability, he would be able to get double ravage. So we do the ravage. Unfortunately, the printed color is that of this side. So the points goes to the Ghibellini, Guelphi, but it will allow us during the siege. What will now we have here? We have Firenze. He should probably start moving towards this place. So let him just move 1, 2. He doesn't go for the roads, and he eats one of the provenders, of course. What happens in the south? Provenzano once again. So what Provenzano can do? I would assume that. Oh yeah, we did the ravage, but where is the ravage? Where is the food? 1 provender and 1 loot. Yep. The tricky thing is that they do not have enough of the food. The sequence was not perfect. So I think he will simply do the siege. So alone, he will do the siege alone. So we'll be rolling a die. It will be 2 die, and we need to roll 1 or 2 for this place to surrender. If besieging lords more or less than size, add 1 siege marker. However, we cannot. The problem is that we don't have enough food for those guys to survive. Okay, enough of thinking loudly. So we do the siege. All the lords takes place. Take part. We roll 2 die. If we roll 2 times 1 or 2, because we have 1 siege marker and 1 ravage marker, they will surrender. No, we add another siege marker, and at the end, we need to feed both armies. This food goes for those guys. They would move their marker from here to here. However, we have money. We will pay 2 coin to move their service marker here. This is what we can do at the end of each and every turn. As you can see here, after playing the card, you have this phase when you feed, pay, and disband. So we feed, we paid to keep those guys. Even without food, they were able to survive. Now we have much better chances of taking over this back. Okay. Guelphi, what they will do? They would like to prepare and try to take those guys, and they have war engineers. So this Lord Zich adds markers to any size of stronghold. And they don't have a lot of food, but they can use supply 1, 2, so or forage. We haven't done yet the forage action. Forage action, add 1 provender to foraging lord if at friendly stronghold. Season is summer, in spring or autumn, roll 1. We are the friendly locale. So we can get 1 food. Let's do it. We'll get 1 food. Actually, we'll do forage and supply, both things. So via forage we take food from here, and via supply we can take 1 food from here before we go to besiege this place. Now the south, Siena. Siena will try to siege. We have the size is 2. Now I'm just looking whether we should do the siege, because guys, we don't have food. We simply don't have food. We can bring some food. We can do the supply action, and then 1 card goes to here, 1 card goes to here. So you know what? We'll do 2 supply actions instead of any sieges or besieges to command. Not so easy to lead a war in this game. And now Arezzo. Arezzo. It's tempting to go here and do the ravage, but we would need 2 actions. And going here and doing the ravage sounds like a suicide. So he will go to his place here, he will use 1 provender, and he will wait for the next turn. Now, what will those guys do? It's Provenzano. He will try to take back the city of Montepulciano. So what we'll do? We'll roll 2 die, and if each and every of them will yield 1, 2, or 3, we'll take over this town. 1, 2, or 3. Yep, they manage. What happens? First of all, we have a surrender, we have revolt or treachery. Yeah, so we'll be checking again. If rolls Zich plus ravage markers, switch allegiances, remove Zich. So first of all, what happens? Those 2 points disappears. It moves 1, 2. The ravage marker, I believe, stays. The Zich markers are removed. There are no spoils because there was no storm, but we have, of course, this treachery thing. And first of all, as you remember, we are getting cards, but we are also getting the rolls. The cards, surprise, surprise, will be Siena and Provenzano, those 2. And other than that, we have 2 rolls. Let me put those cards here, the treachery. 2 rolls to see if any revolt will happen, which might decide the victory points for this turn. We roll, I'll go against Guelphs. 6-3. 6-3 Bibiena. Where is Bibiena? It's here. This is not eligible for revolt because there is a friendly lord nearby. And we have another roll. What can revolt? For example, this can revolt. We have 2-3, 2-3 Prato. Prato is centrally located here. This is eligible, but there is no allegiance marker or rolling sides lord. And that will be all for the first turn of this scenario. I think I will stop here, not to make this material any longer. I hope that you get the grasp of the game, mechanics, how we levy the forces, how we then plan the campaign, and how we execute the campaign. The two big things which happened is, of course, Cortona, which was stormed, and Montepulciano, which was brought to heel by those forces. And of course, nobody knows what will happen later on. Ruins and this ravage actually even itself out. At the end of this turn, we will remove one ravage.
Thank you once again for being with me and watching this teach and play for Inferno, the third installment in Leavy Campaign games. I hope that you like it. I hope that you learn a lot. You get the grasp of the mechanics and how the game plays. In case you should have any questions or you observed any issues, any errors, please use the section below video to notify me. Also, if you like this video, do not hesitate to give a thumbs up, and also I always encourage you to subscribe to the channel. For today, that's everything. Thank you for watching and hope to meet you in another material. Thank you. Bye.